Welcome in Wager Talk TV. It is time for college football, and we are at week 7. And we're going to start with a pretty good game here, guys, in the Big Ten between Penn State and Michigan. 12 noon Eastern time. That's going to be the kickoff this weekend. We will go to our good friend Kevin Dolan, who I know has been looking at this game for at least a month or so here, Dolan. So talk to us. Penn State, Michigan, 7 is what I'm seeing here. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed there's no Notre Dame to talk about on these videos this week. But look, Penn State, Michigan, it is one of the biggest games, obviously, over in the Big Ten. And we know how these two teams usually stack up as well. Usually getting more than a touchdown on either one of these teams is usually the way to go. 2 of the last 3 between them were decided by 1 score or less. So, it is usually a fairly competitive matchup, obviously. But at a straight 7, I have to kind of swerve the side here. I made this game 6.5 personally, so I don't see a whole ton of value on taking either side in this one. I am much more interested in the total here, though. I think we're getting some value, kind of based off the box scores of both teams over recent weeks. The Wolverines were averaging 55.3 points per game over the first 3 starts of the season. That's since dipped, obviously, to just 30.7 points per game over the last 3 starts as, the level of competition has increased. But their offensive numbers are still there. They've generated 440 plus yards of offense in 5 of their 6 games this year. They're balancing that out as well nicely. They're putting up 212.3 yards on the ground, 246.3 yards to the year on average as well. And they're getting it done on big plays this season also. 32 plays of 20-plus yards this year with a 90.9% red zone scoring percentage also. So Michigan are definitely not a team, you kind of want to be having an off day on defense against. And, they're facing a Penn State defense here that really hasn't dealt with this level of offense yet this season. They gave up 426 yards against Purdue back in week 1. Gave up 26 first downs to the Boilermakers in that game as well. But by the same token, the Lions are getting it done on offense themselves, put up 5 rushing touchdowns against Auburn on the road last month. Singleton's been an absolute beast on the ground this year. 92.6 yards per game on the ground, 7.4 yards per carry as well. So I believe both of these offenses are arguably, underrated at this point of the season. As crazy as that sounds, most people are simply focusing on both of these defenses. But while that's all well and good, this is a huge step up for both of these teams defensively in this one, in my opinion, in terms of what they've faced already this season. So, yeah, I like this one to go over the total on Saturday, Joe, between Penn State and Michigan.
All right, liking an overplay. Merril, you got to love a couple of top 10 teams going at it. Big Ten here, right smack in the middle of the season. How are you looking at this?
Well, the sharp money, and Kevin Dolan is definitely sharp money, is on the over in this game. This opened 50.5, and it is early in the week already 52. So there has been a little bit of money on that over. And keep in mind, the reason I mentioned that line move is because 51 is a very key number. About a 3 to 4% chance that the game will land exactly on 51 points. A lot of margins get us there, 31-20, 34-17. You get the point. So the move from 50.5 to 52 is a pretty key over-under move. We have seen some early money for what it's worth on the over. My concern, though, for Penn State is the passing attack. Both defenses have been very strong. They both give up less than 3 yards per carry. They both give up less than 6 yards per pass against some decent opponents, recently at least. The difference, though, is that Penn State has not thrown the ball well. The 7.6 yards per pass have come against teams that allow 7.7. Michigan allows 5.1. So that's the concern I'd have with the overs, that Penn State might not have as much success as they've had this year throwing the ball. Also, if Penn State gets behind, as they should on the road as a 7-point dog, maybe not as much catch-up backdoor cover potential with the mediocre passing attack. Michigan looks really good. I've said for several weeks now that I think they can win the national championship. If you look at the top 10 rankings, they're ranked 5th in the AP poll. Clemson's now ahead of them, and I'll talk more about the rankings, of course, in my college football top 25 video on Friday night here. This game obviously will make the cut, number 5 versus number 10, but Michigan has a lot of incentive now to really run it up the score if they can, because they just dropped out of that top 4 playoff positioning technically, and I really don't feel that was fair. They didn't do anything wrong in a 31-10 win against Indiana, a very impressive 27-14 win at Iowa the week before. Now, they did have maybe the weakest first 3 games in the country against Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn, but they did what they had to. And they've looked pretty good since. A little flat against Maryland in the first real test, but they've looked good on those 2 road games. I think they remain an underrated team here, and I'm not in any hurry to fade Michigan. And I think the passing attack is the one edge they do have in this game.
One of many great matchups here. Ranked teams coming up this weekend. I can tell you this right now, Steve Merril and Kevin Dolan locked, loaded, ready to go this weekend. Visit both at wagertalk.com. Just go to their pages, guys. Grab those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages and never miss a play. Good luck this weekend.